everyone. Monday the 11th here, start of the week. We're going to go as hard as we can, as fast as we can with a LeBar this week. Last week we had 2 full days of power outages. The week before we had 3 organized shutdowns from SSE. The week before we had another day, and the week before that we had another day. So we've lost a huge amount of cutting time on the LeBar. So this week we're staggering our shifts. So hopefully that will allow us to catch up by keeping the mill working all the way through all the lunch breaks. We normally sit at lunch, have a blether, all of us sit down, have a brew together. But this week we're just going to stagger it and try and keep the machine working as best we can. Fingers crossed, nothing breaks and nothing goes wrong, so we can just get caught back up again. We've just been taking some timber out of the kiln. So the kiln takes, depending on the size of the stuff, about 4 to 6 weeks. So really looking forward to getting this stuff out. We've got some crazy elm that's come out. It's amazing big thick stock of elm. I'm pretty sure, knowing Ollie, is this for a customer order or is this?
So this is actually client's own timber mineral.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Laying down.
Okay. So this stuff, I don't know if you can hear that because I've got the mic on, but this is all like customers' own timber that we're kiln drying for them. So we offer that service. It's around about £200 a cubic meter. So if you bring timber to us, we can put it in the kiln and dry it down for you. So most of this is customer timber, is it?
Just this one piece.
Just that one.
All this is I've got mortar and stock.
Nice. So what have we got here? Oak. Most of this is oak.
Actually.
Quarter-sawn oak. Very nice.
Blue stain though, that's reacted.
Nice. So the blue staining Ollie was mentioning there comes from iron in the wood. Because of the tannins in the oak, the tannins react with anything ferrous. So anything like old nails, or we found horseshoes and old bullets and stuff, loads of random things in oak. Because of the tannins in the oak, which makes it super durable, it means it reacts with anything metal and makes this crazy blue staining across the board, which looks pretty awesome. So
the whole bull, which is basically.
Oh wow!
Which actually, I think we did a video on the kiln about.
Okay.
So there's a few of these boards.
Nice. I don't know if you want to come in and see that a bit more, Joe. So these are some beautiful elm boards that we have. This is all bare, all of this stuff around here, and it's unusual. We don't often cut boards this thick, so it'd be really key. That's probably been drying for 5 years at least minimum, before we can get it down to about 20% moisture content, and then it goes safe enough into the kiln. We found that if you don't let it settle and dry down to that 20% moisture, it just cracks, splits, and moves around so much in the kiln. It just wastes your timber. And a lot of furniture makers, really, you have to have that stability in the wood. And you have to just let it rest and take your time with it. So yeah, really excited to see how these turn out, and they're going straight down to the boardroom. So in a few weeks, we'll have that ready for you.
Holy great! We just keep on it. And then there's Joe, who does all of our filming. He's looking handsome as ever. There's a lot of knees on show today with this heat. Look at that. Oh God, what a state. There's a lot of knees that have never seen the light of day, I tell you, around here today. Spectacular. I think they're just looking at the grade of these boards ready for planing.
Hamish is working on this commission. So this is an elm tabletop that we're doing for the Finhorn Watershed project. So it's the Finhorn, Nairn, Lossy and Rivers Trust or something like that. They've got their office down at Logie Steading. Really good company, really good organization, and we know them really well. So we're doing this a bit cheaper than we normally would because it's timber off the estate. The elm trees came off the estate. And it's just really nice to do a project that's just going 10 minutes away down the road that we can forever see and kind of have that connection with. So I don't know if you want to come in and have a bit closer look at this. So 2 boards that are jointed together. We're going to fill in all the cracks with some resin. I'm fairly sure Hamish would have dominoed these together to make it really nice and strong. And I think I'm right in saying that's going to be the splashback that goes up against the wall for it. So it's like their new kitchen worktop. So rough sizes at the moment. We'll fill in all the cracks, and hopefully it needs to be done this week. So we'll watch this one develop throughout the week and how it goes.
Sport. Beautiful bit of elm. Oh, he's just been prepping. Unbelievable. Look at the colour in that. What an amazing piece of wood that is. This is Ollie, number 2. He's on loan from us from the army. He's only here for a week. Hi, Ollie. No knees, unfortunately, but he's making a coffee table for himself. He's been here for the last couple of weeks doing some work for us. So yeah, he's making a nice coffee table for himself. Beautiful bit of sculpted beach. Get this table legs and the shop. It's going to look amazing. Table oil on it, it'll look beautiful.
We had a really interesting order come through from a furniture maker down in London, looking for some really clean quarter-sawn Douglas fir. We found some really nice slow-grown Dougie fir. And quarter-sawn into paint, it takes quite a long time to do, but it makes the wood very, very stable because it dries so uniform. And quarter-sawn, I don't know if you want to zoom in a bit here, Joe, but quarter-sawn means that the grain is running straight across the board like that. So quarter-sawn is straight up and down. If it's trying to see if I can find anything that's the other way. So that there, what have we got here? Yeah. So if that was the top of the board, that would be flat sawn. So the growth rings are running across the board like that. If it was the other way up, let's just use this as an example. If that was twisted the other way like that, and that was a wider board, that would be a quarter sawn. There's three types. There's quarter sawn, flat sawn, and rift sawn. And rift sawn's the kind of bit in between. It's like 45 degrees. So quarter sawn's straight up and down, it would be like that. Flat sawn's when the grain goes across, and rift sawn's kind of when it goes diagonally across. Quarter sawn's the most prime for furniture making, most stable, but it's the slowest to cut and it creates the most weight because you have to make sure the grain orientation is correct. So looking forward to seeing how this one turns out. So all we're doing with these boards, quarter sawing them. I think we're kiln drying them and just giving them a quick skim through the planer to get it flat, and then sending it down to London, and he's going to make this beautiful staircase and I think a bed frame as well at the same stuff. Yeah, looking forward to that one. So we're upgrading Kiln 2. Kiln 1 has been a computer controlled dehumidification kiln for years. We've had that for ages actually. Kiln 2 we kind of bodged together with a load of oil heaters, some really crappy fans, and a couple of old sort of industrial sized dehumidifiers, and it kind of worked. It kind of did its job. But we just need the extra speed through the kiln system now. So we're spending money upgrading this one, but we need to do a hell of a lot of work to the actual container itself. So we had to put 3 new vents in the roof, which we can climb up and have a look at in a minute. Had to redo the doors, which Mike's working on just now. So we've got new metal frames going in for the doors. We'll insulate them, and then we have to make a little insert at the bottom. The fans are in. Should we go inside and have a look? Just scoot past you there, Mike. So there's 2 of these towers, 2 fans, and then heating elements. You can come around this side. Got the heating elements on here. And then about every half an hour, these fans reverse. So they blow air through the sides of the stacks. And these baffles, which you might have to extend as well, stop the air from doing the lazy thing and going across the tops of the stack. You want to push as much air through your stack of timber as you can, and allow it to kind of rotate around the timber. So we block off underneath, block off where the pallet is in the bottom of the stack, block off the bit on the top, and make sure that there's no gaps at either end of the stacks of timber. So the majority, or like all of the air, goes through the timber itself, because that's how you dry the timber. The water is moved to the outside layer of the boards, and it, as the air goes through, it picks up those little droplets of water, that little micro droplets of water, and shifts it out of the board and drags it out. And then the vents in the roof are what expels the kind of cold, the warm, damp air. So these fans reverse about every half an hour, so you're making sure you get a nice even drying process through the wood. So there's another set right down the bottom there. We bought one drying tower from Woodworks up at Loch Carron on the west coast, and then got the other set made by the manufacturer from Germany and shipped across. So we've been waiting on this one for months now, so I'm delighted to nearly be done. So fingers crossed another week or so we'll be out the other end of this and we can turn it on. A bloody hydraulic pipe burst this morning, so I'll show you that. So I think Harris has put it all back together again now, but that stinks. Hydraulic oil, if you've ever smelled it, absolutely stinks. So it was, see that pipe with the yellow banding on it? That one there, that's the one that broke this morning, burst in the metal. You see that hydraulic oil, it just stinks. We mopped it up as best we can and put loads of sawdust in it to try and soak it up, so hopefully it'll be all right. And then, I don't know if we've ever been in here, this is the chipper control panel.
It's Harris. No knees. No. Oh, disappointing. Here he is. No knees. This is a chipper control panel. So this is what controls the conveyor belts, the vibrating trommel, the chipper itself. Give me. Oh, there it goes. Nice a vibrator on. This is the main chipper, and there's a big metal detector pad there, just that Kiwi's cleaning out. So that kind of lighter coloured stuff there. That's a big metal detector to stop us getting anything like tools or anything like that, any kind of staples even it picks up before it gets into the chipper itself. So that's the main chipper, the massive 75 kilowatt motor. And then the chips fall down. There he is. What a specimen of a man. And then the chips fall down and then they go up this conveyor here. It goes right there round to the chip. I'll go around and show you actually. Look at that. Lovely toolboard. Very nice. Very nice and organized. Love it. Bit of labeling still to do. Very tidy. So, turn. There's the big motor. Look at that thing. Absolute monster. Yeah. Oh, man. And 75 kilowatt motor for this thing. Absolute beast of a thing. Chip anything. And then the chip comes out of there, goes up this and into a rotating trommel, which I'll show you from right at the side, and into here. So that's one of the dust extraction systems that comes in here, and then the other one is over the other side there. So I'll tell you what, we'll go around and have a look. Sneak through here. Ewan's just loading up the chip lorry. There he is. So we've got this tipping bucket, which was an absolute beast of an investment. Like, what an expensive bit of kit, but what a difference it makes. So as he lifts it up like that, he just needs to tip the bucket a little bit and then press a button on there, and it flips the whole bucket up, which means he doesn't need to worry about the bucket dipping down. I don't know if you can see, like it says bar there. So there's a crossbar that goes all the way from one side of the trailer to the other for strength and putting the tarp over. And it's super easy with a normal bucket to just dip down and crash into that. Whereas with these toe tipping buckets, you just can't do it. You just need to level it out and it stays nice and square, so it's impossible to do. So this is the chip pile, and that's the rotator. So the chips fall into that on the far side. Fall into there, and then all the fine stuff falls into the previous bay. So all the sawdust and all the heavier stuff falls into here. You want to see this? This is our event display stand that we take to. We were at the Blackout show. We took it to there, took it to there, and we've made loads of improvements to this. We've made a whole like carrying station for it. So every part of it has its own designated slot, and it sits in those slots. So we know exactly how many there are, so we haven't forgotten anything. And they all kind of fit nicely. So when you stick it on the trailer, it stays steady. Put a strap over it and you're done. So the next challenge is where we put this bloody thing. Because before we were kind of moving it around the yard and trying to find somewhere dry to put it. So we're starting to manufacture this thing out of some really sappy larch. I don't quite know why we picked that, but anyway. And we're going to mount it up on the wall over here. So it's going to go up on the wall. We'll just be able to get in with a forklift, stick it up high, way out of the way. It's not going to get damaged. It's under shelter. And yeah, hopefully we can make it strong enough that it doesn't come crashing down. But yeah, that's where that's going. Tons of wood in the yard this week. So we've got a whole range of different sizes of stuff. So really keen for people to just come up and have a go and use this and grab whatever you need whenever you need it. We try and keep a decent stock of all different sizes in the yard. We've also got our reduced bay, which I'll walk around and show you in a minute. I'm really keen to shift this stuff. We're going to put a time limit on each pack. So we'll put a pack around the front there, put a label on it, put 4 weeks on that label. If we can't find a home for it or someone doesn't claim it in 4 weeks, we just have to clear the space. So it's going to have to go in the chipper and be turned into wood chip. So we've slashed it by half price.
But again, if people are coming up and they're buying big parcels of it, or it's for a good cause or something like that, then come and speak to us and we'll see what we can do price wise. Just, I'd much rather see this stuff go to a home than be turned into wood chip and burnt. It's still good timber. It's not our premium grade stuff, but that's still fine. It's still great if you wanted to build stuff around the garden that doesn't need to be perfect quality stuff. But yeah, come up and see what we've got, and there's stacks of it here that we're keen to shift. All of this is reduced. All of this stuff here. So we have 150 by 22, 4.8s, 3.6s. There's some shadow gap planed boards there, some 95 22s. So they're standard grade, so they'll have a sap on both sides, knots and stuff like that, and then but perfectly good if you want to cut that stuff down, take it home, line it inside of a wall, build a shed, anything. It's still quality timber. What do we got? Like, I think these are like 150 32s, something like that. Some bigger, chunkier material here. They must be 50 mil stock. And then there's some 100 by 50s over the other side. Some, what are they, 55 27s, something like that. So a right mixed bag of stuff here at the moment, but there's so much of it. There's loads of 6.2 cladding. That's been here for a while, so that is going to have to get gypped soon enough if we can't find a home for that stuff. So I'd come and grab it, because I'd much rather see this stuff go into a home somewhere. We've had a few interesting driving scenarios where customers have ended up into some really peculiar places up here. So we will do better. We need to do better with our signage, but just thought I'd have a quick walk around just to show you where to go as a customer coming up. So the parking over this side here is for staff. We shifted all of our rackety old staff cars down the bottom, apart from Angus's lovely Range Rover, which we're always amazed that he gets to work. We shifted their cars down to the bottom here because it was just taking up so much space up next to the office that we wanted to make tons of room for customer parking. So when you're a customer coming up here, you will drive in through and then drive straight up this road here behind me, hang a right before the sheds, and then park over there, which you can see just by the office sign there, where the blue Ford, what's that, Ford Focus or something like that? Yeah, park in there. Just park in front there and then nip in and see the guys in the office, and we'll help you out. And we're trying to get it as a one-way system, so you'll come in here and then drive out around the back of the office. And the reason we've kind of made it that way round is quite often the forklift kind of comes around this corner. So the theory behind it is if you're driving up here, you'll be able to see, and he'll be able to see you much better than if you were coming that way and he was coming around the corner. Cool. So a few other things we've been working on this week just to try and keep the improvements going. We have our chatbot on our website. So the chatbot here is trained specifically on information that we have given it. So when it's collapsed down out the way, it just sits in this little bubble here. We might make that icon a bit bigger, actually, it's not all that clear. But once you click on it, it's an AI chatbot that is trained specifically on things that we've given it. So everything on the website, all the content on the website is on here. But I've also uploaded a ton of other documents that train it to answer specific questions. So the things we've just updated now will allow you to calculate how many screws you need for your cladding area, and same for your decking. So if you came in and said, I've got 30 square meters or 300 square meters of cladding to do on the side of my house, I want it done in shadow gap or shiplap or board on board, the chatbot will calculate how much cladding it is you need, and it can also then calculate how many screws you need, what length of screws you need, recommend which ones are best to use, how much they are, and also it will also recommend what treatment it is you need as well, and work out how much it is you need. So we use a brand called Treatex, and their exterior oil is awesome. They do a larch, a cedar, loads of different colors. It's fantastic, great product. But this will work out exactly how much you need. And exactly the same would happen for decking. So if you came in and said, I need 20 square meters of decking, stick it on here, it'll tell you exactly how many boards you need, how many screws you need, and also the Terralock, Rotherblast Terralock, which is our hidden fixing that we stock. And it will work out how many of those you need, how many screws, everything. So awesome little advantage there. So the office use it all the time as well, so it's super quick. When they're on the phone or a customer walks in, they can just type in the numbers and it pumps out exactly what it is you need. So that's there, free to use, help yourself, it's easy to do. The other little improvement we're working on are these hardwood order sheets. So when customers come in and we haven't got the right bit of timber for them,
down at the shop or up here, what we can do is take all their details, write down the species, whatever width, dimension, and everything is that they need, and then we can go hunting for it. So down the bottom here is the bit that we'll fill in. So where the stock board is, how much it is, where it's stored, what work is required, and the processing cost. So for example, if someone comes in and picks up a beautiful board from down at the shop, but they actually want it a little bit shorter, or they want it in half, or they want the ends rounded off, or whatever, we can help with that. We can certainly do that. So we would take all their information, work out the amount, how much it's going to cost them, and then we send them a quote, and it gets added into our Airtable system. It gets added into the control system. On the back of this as well, which if you've ever tried to print double pages in Excel, is a pain in the arse, by the way. I don't know why Excel doesn't allow you to print on both sides of a bit of bloody paper. I'm sure there's a fancy way of doing it, but anyway, long story. But we printed a ton of them out that side, and I had to put them back into the printer to get the bloody other side. But anyway, so that is just a nice area that you can sketch out drawings. We get it all the time where customers are like, "Oh, I want this table design, and it needs to look like this," and it's really hard to explain. So that they can sketch it out, put all the measurements in, and then we can bring it up here to Ollie and Hamish. They can work out how much it's going to cost, how long it's going to take, and if it's even feasibly possible, because that's happened a few times as well. So yeah, a couple of little improvements there, which have been great. Our poor old LeBar has seen better days. We bought this thing secondhand, as you can probably imagine, from James Jones a while back. And it's done us proud. We use it for shifting logs from up the track into the yard. But it did kind of succumb to its age, and the piston shot out the side. I don't know if you want to come and have a look at this, Joe. You can see this the smash in the side of the engine casing here. So guys have tried to tidy it up, but a piston can just absolutely died and just come firing out the side and made a hell of a mess and a hell of a bang. We have tried to repair it. We thought about trying to weld this thing back on, but obviously being cast, it's just going to be really, really challenging. And the conrod as well was just knackered. So unfortunately, it's going to have to be a replacement engine, which we think we might have found. We're just waiting on it arriving, so fingers crossed we can get this thing back up and running again, because it's sad to see it here. It's been sitting here for bloody ages making a mess and pissing oil all over the nice yard, so it'd be good to get this thing running again. And I know Ewan's missing having it, because it's super handy for shifting logs around the yard, and it's just bloody good fun to drive as well. It's awesome. It's a cool toy. This part of the yard's kind of work in progress. This is the Ollie's hardwood storage area. So we're kind of working our way through getting this area a bit more organized, and you can see the kind of new timber that's turning up from the damage of the last storm that we've had. I don't know if you can see it over there as well, just behind Graham's house is a massive beech tree that just split in half and luckily went the other way into the field. So it's been meaning to come down for a while, that one, and it certainly came down in that storm. So hopefully we'll get some timber from that we can stick on the mill. This area is, I think this timber, this is the timber that came from Balnagowan estate. So they had a load of boards that they had milled up at the estate. Right mix of stuff. There's a load of beech and sycamore, there's some lime, there's a bit of elm, bit of oak in there. So they sent it to us. It's been air drying for years, stored in a shed somewhere on the estate. We'll put the whole lot, restack it, put the whole lot through the kiln. When it comes out of the kiln, we're just flattening it to the thickest we can get, so that they've got a perfectly flat board that they can take back up and then use forevermore to turn into whatever they want and build stuff on the estate. So what else has been going on around here? Bit of tidying up definitely needed down here. So this is the way we want things to look. So we're going to redo all of these ones to look like this, so that you can get the side loader in and around here and pick out the stacks. We've been scratching our heads forevermore about the best way to organize this, because obviously the last pack that you've put in is going to be the driest, but it's miles away. You have to move everything out, all the fresh cut ones, if they stack like this. Whereas this way, you can get in with the side loader to any pack. Yeah, yes, you have to maybe lift one or two off the top, but it's so much easier than doing it like this. So we're going to try and turn all of this lot, plus some other stuff that we've got stashed behind you, into rows like this, so we can keep a good track of what everything is. All of the boards get recorded on Airtable. All of the boards get a date that they were milled, the location it came from, and then we know when each pack is about ready to go into the kiln based off of that. You can see more mess that's from the storm that's been piled up at the back there. Some new fresh beech logs that have appeared from off the estate. What else have we got? Still got the Gordonston oak logs underneath the tin there. So there's a big, beautiful 400+ year old oak that came down from Gordonston School that Forestry Services cut down, and James Chitty and Sam Chinnery are taking away just bit by bit as it dries out to turn into beautiful furniture for their alumni and other projects that they've got for the school. But yeah, it's still a bit more to do here. You can see kind of Ollie getting there with the bearers on this. So we've got another, I think we've probably got space for another two rows maybe, and I think we're going to come out a bit further, so we could probably come out to about here, so we can do another section all the way out as well. That will give us probably at least another pack's worth of timber storage. So we got 2 rows here, and then we'll start clearing that Gordonston oak and do the same again. So we've probably got another space for another 3 rows that way, and then probably, what do we reckon we could fit there, another 4 rows back in through that other stuff. So hopefully we can just get this all tidied up and looking really organised, and so we know where everything is, so we're not having to scratch around for it.